What do humans want? There's a question I have been reflecting on deeply. What does human really want? Not what we are told to want, not what society conditions us to chase, but there is an intrinsic desire of human being, of the heart and of the mind. Let's begin with the heart. When I say heart, I'm not just referring to emotions. Perhaps we are speaking of something deeper, the soul, the essence of divine within. The heart's desire is simple. It seeks peace. It seeks tranquility. It wants to understand nature, to feel its fragrance, to hear the sound of birds, to feel the air, its freshness, and sit by a flowing river, walk barefoot and connect with the ground beneath, to live simply, to eat simply, to just be. At its core, the heart wants to build a relationship within itself. It doesn't really need anything else. And then there's another dimension of this heart, the human heart and the divine heart, what we may call as a crown, the higher consciousness. Here, the consciousness, the crown chakra. Both are built on the same foundation, love. The human essence of love and the divine essence of love, there is no difference. The true way of reaching higher consciousness is through love, and that bridge is already within us. When we look at the practices like meditation, especially those that focus on the heart and the crown, it is essentially about expanding that awareness, feeling bliss, remembering moments that brought us joy, and extending that compassion outwards to all the living beings on the earth and to the Mother Earth. In my own journey, I have experienced a similar space where the consciousness of the heart and the consciousness of the divine heart comes together. And when they align, there's a lifting, a subtle expansion into something higher, a bliss. Not just a technique, but as an experience. But somewhere along the way, we drift. We stop building a relationship within ourselves, and instead, we build relationships with the external. Our identity becomes tied to what we do, the positions we hold in the society, the things we achieve, the material we accumulate. And then we say, we want to feel great. We want to feel higher. But there is a problem hidden in that. Because when we want to feel higher, it means someone else is lower. It has to be. It becomes a comparison. And in truth, every role in this existence has its place. Every form of work, every contribution is necessary for the world to function. No work that is being performed is mundane. Nothing is insignificant. So the issue is not what we do. The issue is how we define ourselves through it. Now let's talk about the mind. The mind has two very beautiful aspects, the creative and the logic. When the creative mind is active, it creates art, music, poetry, sculptures. It expresses what we feel inside. It becomes a reflection of something deeper, something divine. And when the logical mind is active, it organizes, it builds, discovers, it creates systems, technologies, solutions for growth, for society, for humanity, and for nature. Both are necessary. This is important to understand. I'm not saying that building cities is unnecessary. I'm not saying that science, technology, art, or culture are not needed. They're all an expression of human potential, the potential of the soul and the divine. The problem begins when our identity becomes completely tied to material aspect of those expressions. When we forget the inner connection, when the external defines who we are, that is where the imbalance begins. And slowly, without even realizing, we come under influence of what we know as the five vices: Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Ahankar. Desire, anger, greed, attachment, and ego. We don't consciously choose to fall into them. It happens because we are not aware of ourselves. We are constantly relating to others, what they are doing, what they possess, how we can do better. Am I being judged? Now, growth is not wrong. Evolving is not wrong. But when it is driven only by comparison, we disconnect from our own inner space. We stop letting the heart do its work. And then the result is what we see today: stress, anxiety, imbalance, restlessness, and poor health. So what is the shift? It is not about rejecting the world. It is not about walking away from progress. It is about loosening our identity or balancing it, building a relationship within ourselves first, and then building a relationship with our surroundings, not with the possessions, not with the labels, but with life itself. When the inner connection is stronger, everything we create outside becomes an expression, not a definition. And perhaps that is the journey, from the external back to internal, from comparison to connection, from identity to awareness, awareness of our own selves, our body, our connection, our feelings. Because in the end, what humans truly want is not just to achieve more, not just to become more, but to feel whole, grounded, and connected. And that wholeness begins within. Ponder over it, think about it, and leave your comments. Thank you for listening. Blessings to everyone.